$3, and we could rewind it and watch it over
Yep,
and over and over and over, and we were so happy about that. But the price was hell of expensive.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Okay, so let's get back to
Sure.
when I was a kid.
Sure, sure.
When being a genius child, my mom had to find different outlets to get get me going. So we didn't grow up originally poor. We were kind of upper middle class,
Okay.
and money flowed. My mom had a job.
Right,
The base was running, so money came in the 80s,
right.
and we had a nice life.
Okay.
But they didn't know about after what was going to happen after the war
Mm,
and all that. In the 80s come and recession happens.
sure, yeah.
But my mom had already had got me a computer, and being a child that smart and just wants to keep typing on the computer
Sure.
and keep going, I did something that most children my age would never even know.
Okay.
And I cracked the Gibson. Okay, you might have heard this.
Yes, I've heard
Okay,
of this, but I don't
the
know.
Gibson was the military computer for the United States. Now, they made a movie about it called Hackers.
Okay.
Okay, and yes, it was cracked, crash and burn, blah, 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 oh, this and that. Oh, you're going to get sued if you say that the movie was made after you. But technically, the movie was in an aspect.
Okay.
Okay. 4 years old, I had a 286 Mac computer,
A-
which was a 286 Macintosh. Okay, that was the most futuristic computer we had in the 80s. Now, this is 1984. That computer probably cost around 2.5 grand
Jeez.
at that time. Okay, that's 2,500 for those that don't know.
That's right. That's
Okay,
yeah.
in 1980, $2,500 is a lot of money.
That's a lot
That's
of money.
17 years of payment on rent. Rent was only 50, $60, y'all, back then. 50, $60 was rent for an apartment to a house. 125 was the most expensive rent that I had ever seen at that time, and that was a 7-bedroom house. $125, 1980s. Yes, that was rent. So I get the computer, and I'm
This is San Bernardino, so this is logical here because
Okay.
that's crazy.
hotels were $7 a night, $10 a night, and you got a intercontinental breakfast, coffee, donuts, all that in the morning, all the time.
Yeah.
So, 1984, I'm working on this computer and I'm just going and typing. And people are like, oh, there were no cyberspace, there was no internet. I said, y'all be wrong. The internet came from cyberspace. Cyberspace was the very first open internet in the entire world.
Okay.
Okay. The problem with it was it wasn't set up for the common person just to go on it. If you couldn't afford a computer, you wouldn't know what a cyberspace was.
Sure.
Okay. You wouldn't know how to pull information off of what they called the black web,
Right.
which was later called the net. Then later it became the internet. And they're going to tell you, oh, the internet was born in 1990 something. That's right. The internet was born in the 90s.
Yes.
But cyberspace in the net was 70s and 80s. You can't just build an internet without already having the connections to have that space to put the internet on.
Sure. Right.
So who made that technology?
Yes.
The government had that. And it was only for the rich.
Right.
So I get on it and I start typing, and next thing I know, after a couple hours, I'm seeing welcome to the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. And I'm a kid. I'm thinking, oh, this is a fun game. I just end up putting in here. So I'm looking through things and think, well, a few months later, we get a knock on the door. And there's a few
Yo.
FBI agents sitting at the door. And they're like, we want this person that, and my mom's like, I don't even know how to program the VCR. My son is there. Well, we want to see your son. Where's he at? He's right there. And as she points to this 4-year-old kid, they're looking at me like, I'm like, oh, I know you. I can bring you up right now. And I bring it up. And his picture, well, at that point, that's when they said, we need to take this computer away from this kid.
What?
At that point, the reality of this and the causality was they thought I was going to be like 15 to 30
Sure.
doing this because that type of technology was only for those that minds were out there.
Right.
Well, being out there, that's where my mind was because my mind never slept. And my mind still doesn't sleep now. I don't get a normal REM cycle like most people do,
Sure.
where people can go to sleep and they'll dream.
Right.
Me, I dream for maybe a second, and then I'm completely lucid. I can control everything in my dream. I can make everything work for me because my mind hasn't shut down. So it's like when I'm sleeping, my mind's still awake. Well, long story short, the FBI tells my mom, I can't touch a computer for 8 years. So I can't have no computer. I can't have anything like that. So my mom gets me video games. I get the Atari 5000. That thing was awesome. I'm playing Pong. I'm like, Red Racer. Boom, boom. I'm like, yes, this is great. So I'm up all night now playing video games. Now I can't stop gaming. Gaming is a part of life. It's what I do.
Sure.
It's bred into me, and it's bred into my children.
Right.
And it'll probably be bred into their children eventually, too. So now, so much fun about that. I'm now 12, 13 years old, and I'm seeing this movie Hackers coming out.
Wait, and during this, obviously, you get out of the Catholic school, right? And then that's when you go to middle school, or
No, after the Catholic school, I go to Butterfree Elementary,
okay,
and I had a hard time after May,
sure,
and that because the teacher would argue with me that, oh, you think you're smarter than me? You think you know the answer? You think you can teach the class? I said yes. I got sent to the principal's office. And my mom has to leave work to come to the school to pick me up.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is not a good thing.
Sure.
And my mom asked me, well, what said? Well, the principal says, the teacher said that he said he was smarter than the teacher. I said, I am. The teacher was wrong. The answer was wrong. How was the teacher giving the wrong answer and try to tell me that answer was right? So I showed the principal the answer. The principal's like, yeah, the answer is right. He goes back to the teacher, and the teacher's answer is wrong. How stupid does the teacher look that a 6-year-old child is smarter? Ouch.
Yeah, that's real life.
And, well, back then, they didn't know how to deal with a child being smarter than an adult.
Yeah, you're
so
completely, you're so far ahead. Your mind is just moving so fast at this point. It's essentially hard for people to I guess the word I would use is just be okay with that in a way. Getting challenged a lot from a lot of different people, it seems, at this time.
Yeah.
Does it get better towards like middle school or high school? Does it ever get better where people kind of like accept you?
Not exactly. But from that lesson, at that point, that's when they said, okay, we want to test them.
Okay.
And they tested me, and they realized that I was already 3 grades ahead of kindergarten. Already. I was already ready to do 3rd grade work. So now my curriculum wasn't kindergarten work anymore.
Sure.
So May came. I did the play for Three Blind Mice, and then my work was now third grade work. So I was always giving an assignment that would keep me occupied and not worry about the kids.
Sure.
So when that time came, I'm sitting over at a desk, still doing math and reading and what arithmetic and whatever else.
Sure.